So in the last class, we started with the orbits. We defined the orbit. Orbit is a path for a satellite in a space which is defined by the balancing of the forces. The two forces acting on a satellite is, one is the gravitational pull and the other is the uh, uh, um, push that the satellite experiences due to the revolution of the satellite in the orbit with a high velocity. So when these two forces are defined, what happens is basically the path is defined and satellite is able to maintain its path, and it is able to give you the signals or follow the trajectory and give you the signals through the various sensors that are there on the satellite. Okay, the next thing that we did was next thing that we did was classification of the satellite. So three major classification that we have seen is depending upon the shape of an orbit, if it is circular and elliptical. The second thing that we did was depending upon the plane in which they are orbits are formed, that is equatorial orbit, that is aligned with an equatorial plane, polar orbit aligned along with the polar plane, and finally the classification, that is equatorial, polar and the inclined. The reason for having an inclined orbit was the three satellites, as told by the scientists, that the three satellites in an equatorial plane could cover whole of the earth. We have proved in our chapter number 1 the maximum latitude that is visible through the satellite in an equatorial plane is only 81.3 degrees north and south, and therefore to communicate with the latitudes higher than 81.3, we needed different orbits. So polar orbits as well as inclined orbits help us to communicate with the portions of the earth which are not covered by the satellites in the equatorial plane. Then depending upon the height at which you are placing the satellite, they were classified as LEO, MEO and GEO. LEO is low Earth orbit with an altitude less than 1000 kilometers. MEO is greater than 1000, around 12,000 to 18,000 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. And then comes the GEO, which is located at an altitude of 36,000 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Yeah. Sorry. So these are just a representation of how the orbits will look when you are making it equatorial, polar. Polar have an inclination of 90 degree, equatorial have an inclination of 0, and any other inclination between 0 to 90 is your inclined orbit. Then I also covered one important, I gave you an example of a LEO orbit, that is a sun synchronous satellite, which is used for weather forecasting. Now, how do we do a weather forecast is, that is when the satellite is giving you the same information on the same time every day, then only you can have a comparative study. Therefore, these sun synchronous satellite, what they do is they are actually orbiting around the Earth, and they are giving you the, or sensing the parameters that are required at the same local time of that particular point on the Earth. Now, how does this happen? This happens because the orbital plane of the satellite is also revolving around the Earth at an a rate of 0.9856 degrees per day. That is approximately 1 degree per day, and because of which in 365 days it completes its one revolution around the sun, that is orbit is also completing, and satellite is continuously revolving around the Earth in the orbit. And the impact of this is the satellite is over a portion of the Earth or a point on in Earth at the same local time every day. And therefore, when you are given the temperatures or the weather forecast, you are given a temperature at say 5 a.m. in the morning, or at 12, maximum temperature around 12 in the noon. So every day it is a, that is how we are able to produce the comparative study that today it is hotter or today it is cooler. Then I started with satellite orbits, and focus, as I said, was on GEO, LEO, and MEO. Molniya is a special case of inclined orbit, which was where the satellite was launched by the Russian satellite was launched, and this orbit has an inclination of 63.5 or 6 degrees. There is a reason for it. We'll understand why it is. And the high altitude platforms, that is low earth orbit only, where it has got a low coverage, and we are able to form the platforms for communication in the space. So now starting with the GEO, I told you the characteristics of a GEO. The altitude is 35,786. The time period to complete the revolution by the satellite around the Earth is 24 hours, and therefore the angular velocity of the satellite and the Earth on its axis is same, and because of which the observer or an Earth station appears to be stationary to the satellite. Geostationary is having an inclination of 0 degree, and since there can be only one orbit which will be at 35,786 kilometer from the surface of the Earth, therefore this has been declared as a natural resource. It has got a large coverage area, multiple points can be covered, and a satellite in a geostationary orbit can cover 1/3 of the portion of the Earth, one satellite. So few satellites are required to cover the whole Earth or have a communication with the whole of the Earth, but we know that the limitations are for this. The limitations for this is that the geostationary satellite are at a long distance, and therefore there is a delay. The signal becomes weak when it is reaching the satellite, and therefore you need to transmit a larger power when you are using a geostationary satellite. And the delay we have already calculated is around quarter of a second, 0.25 seconds, that we have already calculated. It is used for your broadcasting services, because it being at a high altitude can cover a big area. But one more advantage I told you is, since its position is geostationary satellite, the relative position of a geostationary satellite with respect to the observer or an Earth station is stationary, and therefore what happens is we are actually not experiencing any Doppler effect. Doppler effect is change in the frequency of the received signal because of the relative motion of the transmitter and the receiver. Okay, now I think this much we have covered. We were supposed to start with the LEO, right? Or did I complete LEO? I think I completed LEO also. So in LEO, I told you that the altitude at which the satellite is placed is 500 to 1500 kilometers, and it has only a contact time with the point on the Earth station, which is ranging from 15 to 20 minutes, and therefore to have a 24 hours of communication contact, you need a network. A network is required, and that will be a complex network, and large number of satellites are required. An example of the same, as I told you in the last class, was Iridium satellites, which are used for the data and voice communication 24 hours, which has got 66 satellites in 11 orbits, which help us to have a 24 hours of communication. And the disadvantage of this being that since there is a relative motion between the transmitter and the receiver, we experience Doppler effect. The other advantage is, since the satellite is at a low altitude, less power is required to transmit the signal to the LEO orbit. The delays are less, but another disadvantage is it has got a low coverage area. So yeah, and low coverage area, and because of this the advantage that we get is we can actually divide the whole portion which we want to cover into small what you say cells, and therefore we can have a frequency reuse in LEO satellite, but that is not possible in GEO because of the large coverage area that it is having. I had already showed you a tracking of a GEO satellite GSAT 7, and we have seen there the altitude, the time period. Now I'll just like to show you a live tracking of the satellite LEO satellite, so that we get a feel of the parameters as we have already seen, right? Yeah, one more disadvantage with the LEO, as you can see, the last point is atmospheric drag. Since this is at an altitude lesser than 1000 kilometers or around 1000 kilometers, the density of the air is higher, or the atmosphere is higher at this point, and therefore when the satellite is revolving, it experiences a lot of friction, which is actually acting like a force to reduce the velocity of your satellite, and therefore what happens is it will actually need more energy to maintain its orbit every time, because there is something which is actually putting an additional pressure on the satellite, which is actually we don't experience this atmospheric drag for a geostationary because it is farther away from the earth, and the atmospheric friction is actually not impacting on it. There we have different parameters. So Doppler effect. So this is, I have taken it from the official website of ADM, which talks about having 66 satellites in the 11 orbits, and this ADM, there is no coverage gap. That is, we don't have any kind of loss of communication. We have a continuous communication. The phone quality is good, and the call completion rates are superior that we are experiencing. And then US Army is using the Iridium communication. Yeah, you all can unmute. I have given you the rights. First question is, which was the satellite that was being described in this? Yes, who can answer? Which
Was
satellite?
Landsat?
Yeah, Landsat 8, right? So Landsat
Yeah.
8, yeah, Landsat 8 is which type of satellite? LEO, MEO, or GEO?
Ma'am, it's a sun synchronous satellite.
Yes, it's a sun synchronous satellite. That is what he so told in the video, that it is observing during the sunlight, right? That word was used. Now, one more thing. What is sun synchronous satellite? It's a LEO, MEO, or a GEO?
Ma'am, Leo.
Correct. So it's a LEO satellite. And what did you observe while, how is it traversing the earth or giving you the picture, as I told you, is it is completing its 14 revolutions for that particular case, right? It may vary. For that particular case, it completes its 14 revolution in a day and is covering a different portion of the earth in every, right? You could see in the map, every round that it was taking, it was actually covering a different portion of the earth, and in 16 days it is giving you the whole picture of the world, and so that we can actually observe the changes in the earth or the global parameters. After every 16 days, a whole globe picture is being created, right? So this is what I told you. First thing, that we are able to see what is sun synchronous. Second thing, we could able to see how is it actually giving you the data. When I say in 24 hours, you are able to get the information about it. It is along the local time and the local area that we are able to get it, right? Just we need to wait. It is capturing the live data. I just want you to be cautious about what are the values, because when I say what it is doing, you should be, or what are the characteristics, you should be able to actually see it. Yeah, it's capturing. Okay. Can you see? The altitude is around 1005 kilometers. It is different from what we saw for GSAT-7. Then we can see the footprint also. It will show us slowly. Then it is the speed. The speed is 7.35 kilometers per second, which was around 3.7 kilometers for a geostat satellite. See, it's giving me my live location. Can you see? You are here. So that much accuracy that we are getting with the LeoSat or the satellite, that it knows where am I sitting. I am tracking it. It is giving me where I am sitting along with the satellite positions, what it is tracking. If we do it continuously ना, तो आपको थोड़ी देर में ये positions भी change होती, because to observe it at such a high altitude, it takes little time for us to actually observe it moving from this point to this point. Normally it shows us, yeah. So this is your satellite. Right now it is this location of the satellite that it is in. It was not over India. That is why we were not able to see. So it is now centered over India, which is right now over North America. I just wanted to show this to show you the difference. You will even see it for a geo also, so that you see. One more thing, the period. Can you see the period there was 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds. The period is changed to 106 minutes. So 106 minutes at an altitude of around 1005 kilometers. We can actually do these calculations to find out the speed and other things once we are aware with the parameter calculation. Okay. So there were 24 satellites. I had selected one satellite because the GPS constellation has 24 satellites. I had selected one for tracking. Yeah. The path, right? Right now it's over Africa. And this is my location. You are here. This is the footprint. As you could see, the footprint is larger than that of the Leo का footprint याद है ना, छोटा सा था ना गोला. Now you can see, because it's at a higher altitude compared with the Leo, you have got a bigger footprint. Just look at the altitude. It is 12,544 kilometers. The speed is around 3.87 kilometers, which was 7 point something. So lower orbits, as I was telling you, it has got larger pull of the earth. तो उसको compensate करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? The satellite needs to have a higher energy. What will provide it the higher energy? The velocity. And we can clearly see the velocity. Neo पे it's lesser, Leo पे it is higher. The period also you can see. The period was 106 minutes. Now it has become 718 minutes. Can you actually visualize what I'm trying to say is, or differentiate with respect to the characteristics of your satellite at different altitude? Is it clear? Now, one more thing that was very evident in the video was swath traversed by polar satellites. What is a polar or a LEO satellite? Polar satellites are also the LEO satellite. I have taken an example of a polar satellite. Now, what is a swath? Swath is a pattern. The pattern that the satellite is forming when it is revolving around the Earth. So can you see, the first time when the satellite is revolving, it is following this path. Second time, when it is completing the orbit, the path has changed. Here, if I am trying to make it more clearer, say first time it was traversing its path around 0 degree longitude. Now what happens is second time when it is traversing its path, the satellite with its footprint, right? Swath is nothing but with the footprint, the path that it is able to capture or the information that it is able to capture is this footprint. Okay, so what is the point that it is able to cover right now is 25 degrees. Now, can anyone tell me what is the reason or why this one revolution say 106 minutes जो हमने देखा 106 minutes के बाद क्या अर्थ वही पोजीशन पे है? No, the earth is actually completing its or moving towards because it is rotating on its axis. So 106 minutes में उसका angle, I have just taken a reference of 25, it could be some other value just to tell you that second time when it is coming it is 25 and this keeps on repeating, and every time what is happening is the earth is traversing a new path. Now you understand the swath, why it was actually forming such kind of pattern like a zebra pattern, and one time it is covering a different path place on the earth, and the next time it is covering a different place. The reason for it is that the earth has actually because of the rotation of the earth on its axis, it has changed its position. Is it clear? ये important question है which is asked is, how does a low earth orbit satellite communicate with every point on the surface of the earth? So what is happening is it is forming a swath, and when it is completing its one rotation, what is happening is it is actually the second time what it is traversing is a new portion on the earth. I'll just like to give you one problem. I forgot to type it on my PPT, but still I'll take one new slide and type that question. Okay, a satellite at an altitude of 800 kilometers from the surface of the earth completes its one revolution in 102 minutes. Okay, in how much time will it complete traversing the whole of the earth? Now how do we find out this is? So in 102 minutes, how much will earth, see, earth complete its one revolution. One revolution is what? 360 degrees. Correct? In how much time? In 24 hours, right? Can you tell me how much will it complete in 102 minutes? That is 360 degrees अगर वो 24 hours may complete. One revolution is, one rotation on its axis is what? Completing a 360 degrees in 24 hours. Tell me 102 minutes में वो कितना degrees cover करेगा? Just a simple calculation. 102 minutes, it will cover, it will change 25.5 degrees, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me, yeah, in how many revolutions does the satellite has to cover to complete the 360 degrees? एक revolution में उसने कितना cover किया? Satellite ने 25.1 revolution में उसने 25.5 degrees का swath form किया. ठीक है? Swath माने path, right? अभी उसको पूरा अर्थ को कवर करने के लिए माने कितने रेवोल्यूशंस करने पड़ेंगे? How many revolutions to cover 360 degrees? So the answer has come out from one revolution 25.5 degrees. How many revolution? 360. So it is coming out to be 14.11. So we round it off to 14 revolutions. Is it okay? Yes. Is the problem clear? ये आपका क्वेश्चन आता है पेपर में, आपको दिखेगा कि the time period of a polar satellite is 102 minutes. How much how many revolutions does it need to do to complete the whole of the earth? The answer is 14 revolution. How did we get it? Is first we calculated in 102 degrees how much does the earth change its position. It changes its position by 25 degrees. And if I'm that is in one revolution आपने 25 degrees को cover किया. That we are assuming आपका swath is so big that it is able to cover the whole of 25 degrees. And then how many revolutions to cover 360 degrees? Just multiply and you will divide 360 by 25.5, you get 14 revolutions. तो basically I am assuming 14 revolutions जो one day में कर रहा है वो पूरा earth को cover कर रहा है, assuming उसका जो path है, swath है, जो फुटप्रिंट है वो इतना चौड़ा है कि वो पूरा 25.5 डिग्रीज का पोर्शन है वो एक बार में कवर कर रहा है. तो आई डोंट हैव टू रिपीट. जो कि हमने एग्जांपल में देखा था उसको 16 डेज लग रहे थे उसके स्वाद के साइज के हिसाब से टू कंप्लीट द होल अर्थ का ट्रैवर्सिंग. राइट? यस, इज इट क्लियर? या
Ma'am, so the assumption it was, right, which we took
Yeah.
360
Yeah.
degree in 24 hours.
No, not at all. It's a real data. 360 degrees in 24 hours is a real data. Earth completes its rotation on an axis. That is पूरा 360 degrees घूम रहा है. कितने टाइम में घूम रहा है? एक रोटेशन वो कितने टाइम में रख रहा है? 24 hours में.
Okay.
The only assumption that I have taken is वो स्वाथ का साइज जो है 25, इसीलिए मेरा वो 16 डेज का डाटा नहीं आ रहा है. जो 14 रेवोल्यूशंस बोल रहा था वो तुमने प्रूव कर लिया. राइट? He said ना 14 revolutions in one day that I have found out. That is assuming मेरा 25.5 degrees का एक स्वाथ का साइज है या फुटप्रिंट का साइज है. ठीक है? Should I wrap this? Should I wrap this? Have you noted down this problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, we have covered LEO, we have covered GEO. Now comes the MEO, that is medium earth satellite. The word itself says medium means it is something between the GEO and the LEO. GEO and LEO define the two extremes and MEO is in between. GEO was at 36,000 kilometers from this earth and LEO was only at say 1,000 kilometers from the surface of the earth, whereas MEO is between 8,000 to 18,000 kilometers. So definitely it will have a larger coverage area compared to LEO. ये हमने देख लिया live data में, हमने देखा कितना large था उसका coverage area. इसका जो contact period रहता है जो लियो का सिर्फ 15-20 minutes था, because the height has increased, it has got a contact time with an earth station of 2 to 8 hours. So 2 to 8 hours होने के कारण क्या हो रहा है आपका? You have a larger contact time. So number of satellites required to complete your network will be lesser than LEO, but more than GEO. So that is why we have seen 24 satellites of GPS held in 6 orbit are able to give you a 24 hours anytime location to you from any place in the world. And also Doppler effect होगा क्या इसमें? Can anyone tell me MEO will have a Doppler effect as severe as LEO or as low as GEO?
मीडियम में रहेगा.
Exactly, it will be having, definitely there will be a Doppler effect because यहाँ पे भी there is a relative motion between the earth station and the satellite and therefore there will be a Doppler effect but which will be lesser than LEO but more than GEO. Coverage time कितना रहेगा? Time will be less than GEO but more than LEO. Power requirement क्या होगी? Again, it will be more than GEO but less, more than GEO, more than LEO but less than GEO, and it will have a larger coverage area as compared to LEO, right? So it is everything is in between the GEO and the MEO. So advantages of this will be the satellite longer duration of visibility, wider footprint means fewer satellites needed in MEO network as compared to LEO. Disadvantages, the distance is longer, time delays and a weaker signal than LEO, though not as bad as GEO. Now, GPS is an example of your MEO satellite, which I covered in your chapter number 1, and we already have traced a satellite. So it is 24 satellites in 6 orbits covering the whole of the Earth and communicating. Now, other is your Molniya orbit. So it is used by Russia for decades. It has an inclination of 63.46. I think exact value is 63.46. The reason for it is that we get minimum drifting in the satellite orbit. It's not that when we say the orbit is defined, the satellite will continuously keep on tracking the same orbit. The problem with it is that the forces from the earth, the forces from the sun, they are not always constant. There is always a gradient existing. And whenever the gradient is existing, there is always a change in the force that is being exerted. And therefore, at different times, you need to have a tracking system to actually keep the orbit in your satellite in the orbit. So because of these forces, the orbit, it's like once I define the orbit, I assume the orbit inclination at least to be the same. That also changes, its orientation changes. So all these are minimum for Molniya orbit, that is at 63.5 degrees, and that is the reason it was chosen by Russia for installing its inclined orbit satellites. Now, high altitude platforms, it is the newest idea in satellite communication. They have a very small coverage area, as I told you. They because they are at a very low height. So it's like 20 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. These small satellites are launched, and they are forming this platform of high altitude platforms that is around 20 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Small coverage area, and comparatively they have a strong signals. And since you are placing it at a lower altitude, it is cheaper to place it there, and require a, they definitely they require a lot of, but the advantage, can you see the cells being formed? So these cells are like mobile ka jaise cells ka hai na, the concept of mobile, the cells are being formed, the frequency reuse is there, and we are able to actually divide the whole bandwidth. So ye kya ho gaya, aapka main satellite to communicate kar raha hai, but instead of directly communicating with the main satellite, we are forming a platform at this altitude which helps the satellite to actually divide the whole bigger bandwidth into smaller bandwidths and use it for the various purposes, have a frequency reuse, and have a better utilization of the bandwidth. Can you see? This is like a, जो मैं अभी तक हम लोग बोल रहे थे, it's like only one repeater in a communication. No, now there is a platform that you are installing which will be helping us for actually dividing your platform, your bandwidth, and have a better utilization. Put the point. So we compared with respect to the altitude, right? So the first comparison will be with respect to the height. The second was your delay. The delays are maximum. Then we talked about power. The power required for transmission is maximum for GEO and minimum for LEO. Then we talked about example for each. Intel satellites is for LEO. Then you have LEO, Intel satellites is for GEO. GPS is for MEO. Landsat or a synchronous, Landsat 8 or a sun synchronous is for a LEO. Then we talked about what else we talked about. There are few more answers which I had not seen. Yeah, the coverage, yeah, the footprint or large coverage area, I should say. Coverage area, that is maximum for GEO. Then frequency reuse. It is not possible in frequency reuse is not possible in GEO satellite, but we can do it. We have a contact time. Contact time is maximum for a GEO and minimum for a LEO. complexity in network is maximum for LEO and minimum for GEO. Time, and then what else we talked about? Let me check. International Space Station is also LEO perfect, Vivek. Number of satellites, that is the complexity I had talked about. So contact time, then we talked about time period for completion is GEO has the maximum of 24 hours to complete its one revolution. LEO has few minutes, that is 102 was I gave you an example. GEO has time period to complete its one revolution, that is more than your GEO, more than LEO but less than GEO. The examples that are very good examples that you have given. Then what else? I hope I covered. Yes. And also the application you talked about. Application is, as you have correctly said, GEO is used for broadcasting. MEOs are used for real-time communication, and LEO is used for voice and data communication. Correct. What else you have told? Second and a very important part of satellite orbits is Kepler's law of planetary motion. So the laws that govern the satellite were actually taken by the study of a German mathematician, an astronomer and an astrologer also, who has actually observed the motion of the planets around the sun and has formulated few rules which actually govern the motion of the planets in the space around the sun. Taking the same concepts we have built, or the technology was built, or the platform was built, where the earth was at the center and the satellites are revolving around it. Taking the study of Kepler, which had sun at the center and the planets revolving around the around the sun. Okay, so basically the comparison was there is a primary body and a secondary body. The primary body is a body which is at the center, and the secondary body, which is the planet, are revolving around the primary body. Here in satellite Earth system, the Earth becomes the primary body and the satellite becomes the secondary body. Okay, so the first law that he gave was planets move in an elliptical orbit with sun at one of its focus. So there was no concept that the orbits are always circular. With this study, he found out that the planets move in an elliptical orbit with sun at one of its focus. Then the second law that he gave was the radius vector. I think that's better if I show you with the pictures. So there he gave the three laws related to the shape of a orbit, the time period, and also the relation between the time period and the size of the orbit. So these are the things that we'll be using to prove all those points which we have seen for the live satellite. Okay, so the first law. The path followed by using the first law for the satellite, the path followed by the satellite around the primary will be an ellipse. So it's an ellipse. The Earth will be at F1 or F2. What it says is the mass of two bodies centered, termed as, means if I have a two heavy bodies, there will be a mass center. And if I talk about the Earth and the satellite, all of you know that Earth is much, much heavier than the satellite. So always the mass center will coincide with the center of the Earth. And the similar is the case with the your planet and sun system. The sun is the barycenter, which is called as the mass center or center of mass of a two-body system, is actually at the center of the sun, and therefore sun is at one of the foci. So it says that the mass center will be coinciding with one of the foci, and for the Earth and the satellite, Earth being very heavy, the Earth is at one of the foci. In our specific case, because as I told you, the semi-major axis of an ellipse is denoted by A and the semi-minor axis is denoted by B. Okay, so the first important. Now tell me, the Kepler law says that the orbit has to be an ellipse. But when I talked to you about geostationary orbit, I said that it is circular in shape. Then, and Earth is at the center of that circle. Does it go with Kepler's law, or does it move away, or basically is not agreeing with the Kepler's law? Can anyone tell me? Yes, my question is clear. Kepler says that the primary body revolves around the secondary body revolves around the primary body in a path which is an ellipse, and the primary body is at one of the focus, that is at F1 or F2. My question is, when I talked about geosynchronous satellites, I told that the Earth is at the center of the orbit and the shape of the orbit is circular. Can you tell me, does that geosynchronous orbit agree with the Kepler's law, or does it not agree with the Kepler's law?
Ma'am, it won't be perfectly circular because apopsis and periapsis cannot be exactly similar at any time. So technically, it will be an elliptical orbit, but we round it off to be circular.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Circle is a special case of ellipse with eccentricity equal to 0, where both the foci F1 and F2 coincide with each other and with the center of an circle. So ellipse and circle, when we say, they are nothing but a same shape with a different eccentricity. You know what is an eccentricity? Yes or no? Eccentricity is defining the shape of an ellipse. It's a relation root over a square minus b square. I think so, I'm correct. I need to check the value. I think I'm correct. So eccentricity, you can Google and tell me. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Eccentricity of an ellipse. What is the formula? Eccentricity of an ellipse formula.
According to study.com, the eccentricity of an ellipse 2, 8,
So it is root over a square minus b square by a. I'm wrong. It has a denominator. Eccentricity, you can note it down. It's useful for your problems, which okay. Yes, everyone. So when A and B are the same, so what is happening is eccentricity is 0. So circle is with eccentricity is equal to 0. Am I clear? Yes. So when we say geosynchronous or a circular orbit, I have even talked about polar orbits being circular. Circular does not mean that it is not agreeing with the Kepler's law. It is also agreeing with the Kepler's law. Circle is a special case of an ellipse with eccentricity equal to 0, that is semi-major axis equal to semi-minor axis. Yes, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. This is again comes as justify. Justify what the geosynchronous orbit is circular. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first law, that the satellite is revolving in an elliptical orbit, which is similar to sun at the one of the foci. Now, this second law says that equal time, this is very important and it actually gives us lot of information about how does a satellite work. Now, what it happens is at equal time interval, a satellite will sweep out equal areas in the orbital plane focused at the barycenter. So this is the center, barycenter, the mass center. This is the point. Yeah. This portion is near to the earth, and this is the portion which is farther from the earth, and it says that equal area, that is A1 is equivalent to A2. The area traversed by the satellite in the same time is equal to, if I say that it is the area traversed in 1 second, this is also the area traversed by the satellite in 1 second. So let's do some calculations. It says that A1 is equal to A2, correct? Now, can I define the area? It's similar to a triangle, right? Similar to a triangle. A1 is equivalent to half base into the altitude. So I'll just draw the altitude. So this I'm so let this be height h1 and let this be height h2, right? So h1, okay. h1 and the height here is h2. So tell me what will be the formula for area. Tell me. अभी आपको मैंने बेस बता दिया. बेस
half
कितना है?
into S.
Yeah,
half
S1
into
is
S1.
nothing but half into S1 into H1, correct? And
H1.
this will be
Yes, ma'am.
half
Yes, ma'am.
H2 into H2. Do you agree to this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we have this area, half of gets cancelled. It is H1, S1 is equivalent to H2, S2. Okay. Okay. Now, what do you think if S1, H1 or H2, which one is greater? Yes, Mohit, can you reply? Which one is greater, H1 or H2?
Ma'am, actually, I am having a doubt, but if H2
yeah,
is
please.
greater, ma'am, actually, if we are considering a triangle, ma'am, so ma'am, we cannot use that formula with respect to sine wala, that ma'am, sine wala form, because ma'am, this is scaling type of triangle, na ma'am. All the sides are also not equal, na ma'am, from the figure.
No, we are assuming. Okay, I agree with you. I am assuming here 1 second. I am assuming this is an isosceles triangle. I agree with you that it's a scaling triangle. Just an approximation that the time period is so small that both the sides are approximately equal. Right? That's an assumption which I should have told you. Anything else?
No, ma'am. But just if when you were asking which H1 is greater or
Yeah,
H2 is
which
greater, ma'am,
one is greater?
so H2 will be greater, ma'am, from the figure.
Yes, correct. All of you agree? Now H1, I would like to tell you this point corresponds to perigee and this point corresponds to apogee. Okay. Okay, I think now it is clear. या सोनू गुप्ता तुम्हारा नेटवर्क बहुत प्रॉब्लम है भैया, बार बार तुम एंटर कर रही हो. ठीक है. So H1, now tell me अगर H1 is smaller than H2, what will be a relation between S1 and S2? क्या होगा? Greater than sign लगाऊं, smaller than क्या sign लगाऊं यहाँ पे? Yeah, some charts are there. H1, yeah, S1 perfect. S1 is greater than S2. Perfect. Everyone, the answer is correct. So what does it mean? What does it mean? I made an approximation that this area is S1 into H1 and this is S2 into H2. It says that for perigee, where the height is very low, the area traversed will be more than the area traversed at or apogee in the same time period. Do you agree with this? Yes or no? Can you see
Yes,
this
ma'am.
ना? Right, it is covering a same area. माने अगर height बढ़ रही है तो तुम्हारा base तो कम होना ही पड़ेगा ना, right? So what does it again mean? अगर मेरा 1 second में ज्यादा distance travel हो रहा है तो what is the relation between the velocity? Again tell me, greater than sign डालूं, smaller than sign डालूं between V1 and V2? Correct, perfect. The answer is V1. I missed that. Okay, I'll have to write it again. Right, V1 is greater than V2. Why it is so? This is because, sorry. This is because in the same time period, you are covering a larger distance at perigee and smaller distance at apogee. That simply means that the velocity is different because speed is equivalent to distance upon time. अगर time same है, distance अगर ज़्यादा है तो velocity भी ज़्यादा होगी. So velocity will be larger. What inference do we carry out? We carry out that the speed of a satellite is faster at the perigee and it is lower at the apogee. One more inference that we carry out is at perigee at a low altitude, the gravitational pull of the earth is larger. So to balance that, the satellite has to move at a higher velocity to compensate it as compared to apogee, which is at a larger altitude. The gravitational pull is less and therefore the velocity required to balance the pull of the earth is smaller and therefore satellite moves at a lower velocity. So when I say an elliptical orbit, we should remember that the velocity is not uniform. जब हमने circular orbit किया था तो हमने क्या बोला था? The velocity is uniform. एक ही number देखा था ना? The velocity is uniform. The reason for it is because every point in the orbit is at the same height from the center of the earth and therefore is experiencing the same gravitational pull, and to overcome it, it has to move with the same uniform velocity. Therefore, we have to we come out with lot of this second law is very important and gives us lot of information that the second law simply says that equal area is traversed in equal interval of time by a satellite, right? When it is from the focused at the very center. That simply means A1 is equal to A2. A1 I assumed a point at perigee. Actually perigee is somewhere here. I'm assuming it to a point near to the earth and apogee farthest from the earth. since we know that the altitude or the height is maximum for the triangle traversed by the satellite in 1 second at the apogee will very higher, so the distance covered will be lower. Since the distance covered is lower, we inference that the velocity of a satellite at perigee is higher than the velocity. Why does this happen is at perigee you have a larger gravitational pull, and to balance it the satellite has to move with a higher velocity. And at apogee, the satellite has a less pull and therefore lower velocity. And this is actually helping us to understand for how much time we'll be able to communicate with the satellite so if say I am able to maintain I'm moving so fast. So having a communication with the satellite will be, means I may be losing the communication with the Earth. But as compared to apogee point, since it's moving very slow, I will have a larger communication time, or a larger time the satellite will be visible at apogee as compared to perigee, because of the high velocity it is traversing a larger path. Am I clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone, this is important thing that is asked. First question is asked is, does a satellite revolve with uniform velocity in the orbit? The answer is no. It is higher at perigee and lower at apogee. How do you justify the uniform motion of a satellite in a geostationary orbit? Geostationary orbit is a circular orbit, and therefore every point in the orbit is at an equal distance from the center of the Earth, and therefore uniform velocity or a uniform speed is required to balance the gravitational pull of the Earth. You also can be asked is justify, just a minute, some chats are there. Ma'am, what is barycenter? Barycenter is nothing but the mass center. मास सेंटर मींस जब दो बॉडी होते, दो मास है, क्या मास है, एक अर्थ और एक सैटेलाइट है, दोनों का सेंटर ऑफ द मास कहाँ लाई करेगा? वी नो अर्थ इज much heavier than the satellite, so the mass center will always lie at the center of the Earth, and therefore the barycenter or the center of mass of two bodies is at the center of the Earth. Right? Fatima has answered, center of mass of two bodies. Okay. So this is second law is very important, and lot of justification points are asked. So clear all drawings. Yeah. So this is a second law which I have, can you see on the corner? This is a small animation for the traversing of the, so can you see the high speed near the perigee and low speed at apogee? So हमारे पास ज़्यादा time of communication रहता है at apogee, and you can clearly see the distance being traveled day wise. Day 0 से 10 days और फिर 20 days, 30 days और फिर कितना दिन लगता है. So it is very much visible that how is it being traversing. एक दिन में यहाँ पे कितना ज्यादा डिस्टेंस है, और यहाँ पे सॉरी 10 days का इन्होंने गैप लिया है, तो 10 days में यहाँ कितना कम है, और ये पॉइंट पे you have a smaller distance being traversed, and therefore you have a more time to communicate. Is it okay?
Yes,
Now third law, what does it state? That the square of the time period of an orbit is proportional to the mean of the distance between the two bodies. This is what it is, a cube. The mean of the distance between two bodies kitna hoga? The mean distance is nothing but the semi-major axis. Okay, so a cube is proportional to the time square. Time period is t. Now